Good Monday night, Dave Berman live on DELCO Sports 360 on cmpradio.net. To my right, so cool to have John Dougherty in the house, the pride of DELCO, Cardinal O'Hara grad, 1989, and in year number 6 for the very successful, and they play a tough schedule, 4A school out of Downingtown, Bishop Shanahan, the boys basketball program. John, thank you for, we finally got you on the show. I'd love to have everybody on the show if I can, but thank you for coming in. Grew up in DELCO and Cardinal O'Hara, as I mentioned. What public school would you have gone to back then?
I would have gone to, well, first of all, Dave, thanks for having me. I'm finally here after many times of us trying to work it out.
Yeah, we've corresponded games and everything. You've had 2 epic battles with Chester in the basketball in the past couple of years. We'll get to that and a lot more.
So the public school that I would have gone to if I didn't go to Cardinal O'Hara would be Academy Park.
Oh, very. They were
great.
They were coming on. And they. So you grew up either Sharon Hill, Darby Township.
Darby Township, the Briarcliff section of Glen Olden in Darby Township.
How about the history? Darby Township has an unbelievable boys high school basketball history. Alonzo Lewis, who took Chester, won a couple of state titles with them. He was a great coach for Darby Township. So, yeah, you grew up there. How did you end up at O'Hara? You would have been, 86, 87, 88, 89.
Right. I have 4 older sisters that all went to Cardinal O'Hara, so I really didn't have a choice. I loved O'Hara. O'Hara was great. I mean, a lot of my friends went there. They either went to the grade school that I went to, either went to Academy Park or Ridley or Cardinal O'Hara.
And you have a great voice, too. And, have you done any broadcasting yourself, announced some games, any talk shows? Because I know that there's outlets needed for that.
No. I do not have any interest, so your job is safe.
Okay. But that's a yeah. All right. So you grew up, there was a legendary coach, basketball, I think football, too, John Dougherty, back in the 60s. I've talked to you about him. I don't know if his name has ever been brought up besides me talking to you about it.
No relation. Sometimes I do get the Coach Dougherty that used to be at Episcopal. Dan Dougherty.
Dan, he was a legend. Right. He's a legend, yeah.
No relation, I wish. But a lot of my relatives that were really good went to Monsignor Bonner, the Weldy family in Havertown.
I think the son is going to be a junior this year at O'Hara football. Am I? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Johnny.
Johnny. Yeah. Rich family, a lot of connections in Chester, obviously. Also, yes. That's why on these shows I could have, I could have a show every night, 7 days a week, and try to get many of these. And there's so many connections with Chester, the town of Chester, where we're doing the show from, with the outskirts all over, right. Not only DELCO, but Chester County and the entire state of Pennsylvania. So you went to Cardinal O'Hara, and what sports did you play?
I played basketball, football, ran track, did a lot of other stuff.
I'm trying to find some stuff on you. It has to be in the Inquirer, though, because the DELCO Times archives end in 78. But, so your coach in football was who?
Bob Ewing.
Oh, there's another big Chester, St. James, right. And his son.
Michael.
Wow. Incredible. And the son's the head coach of O'Hara.
Yes.
Right. So the current head coach of O'Hara football. So you go there, and you played all 4 years football, basketball? You want to get into that at all?
So I did freshman and JV basketball, and then I decided to play high school CYO at Our Lady of Fatima. We did pretty well. We had a pretty good team.
Pretty intense.
Pretty intense. We had really good competition. We went pretty far in the state tournament. We won our region, I believe, and we had really good seniors when I was a junior. And then I ended up just doing really well and ended up getting some attention from Newman University, and I ended up playing there for 4 years. So
basketball coach back then was the great Buddy Gartler.
Buddy Gartler. Yeah, I'm a big fan, love the guy.
So Chris.
Rest in peace, yep.
His grandson, Buddy's grandson, is tearing it up. Some of the fiery competitor, but as you know, very intense on the basketball court.
I love Chris. Chris and I get along, and anytime we play marble, it's a battle, right? But in a good way.
Yeah, no, what a year they had in sports, winning a bunch of district championships, and they won the state championship in lacrosse, which is also an awesome sport at your school, Bishop Shanahan. So you had Buddy as a coach, and then you graduated 1989.
Yes.
What a year that was for back then. It was in 4A basketball, the top level, it was Chester, Glen Mills, Penwood, Rap Curry, Zane Shaw, Mike Johnson. I could go on and on. Glen Mills had James Spears, if you remember him, the man-child. Did you get a chance to play against any of those guys, maybe in 88 or 89 on the trail?
We never did. Like, there were times where Buddy Garley would have us play at 14th Street in Prospect Park in the summer in pretty hot weather. But during our seasons, we never met up because at the time, the Catholic League only played the Catholic League unless it was like a tournament.
Yeah, what an experience. So who were some of the guys when you graduated from the Catholic League that made it big time?
Well,
Catholic League football and basketball.
Football, geez. The year before, so Ed Dougherty was our quarterback and then went to Lycoming. No relation, right? Ed's a great guy, good quarterback, still local in Chester County, I believe. Eddie Malloy from our year. I mean,
long-time
NBA
official,
referee, right? Eddie and I still talk. Pat Chambers was a freshman, and then he transferred to Episcopal. We still keep in touch. Joe Junta, who college and high school athletic director and still involved with basketball now. He has younger kids, so he's doing a lot of stuff with his kids' sports.
So you graduate 89, and you go to college.
Yes, Newman University.
And you played basketball there?
And baseball.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to look that up too. How many years did you go there? Four, I would imagine, yeah.
4, and I played both. I was the first 4-year baseball player at Newman.
What was your degree?
Degree was in marketing with a minor in English.
Well, there you go. That's why you're such an articulate speaker. You probably do. You've done some marketing over the years. Yes. You do some training, athletic training too, that I saw on some of your websites. Or you did.
I work out. Like, as far as me.
Yeah, but I thought you have what I saw. I thought maybe some kind of business involved with better health.
No, I just physically work out and I promote. But I take our Shanahan players to a gym, in the off season to have them learn the proper way to work out and the correct way.
It's important, especially when you get older, to drink a lot of water and try to maintain. So a great career. How did you get into coaching? Why did you want to become a coach?
It's funny. I really didn't have any aspirations in high school or even in college. I fell into it. 2 local friends of mine, Tom Riley and Jimmy Riley, were coaching a local high school CYO team, 11th and 12th grade, and I think they needed help. Asked me, and I did that for 5 years and loved it. So I did that. I graduated, 93, and I started the following fall. So I've been coaching. I'm going into my 31st year, and I'm 53 years old. So it was great. I was 22 coaching 17, 18-year-olds. It was great. Your
full-time job was?
At the time, I was working for Comcast in the cellular division.
Sales?
Sales. Yep. Inside, outside, corporate accounts. And now I work for a higher educational software company, Elucian, where my team that I'm with, we demo all the software to universities and colleges worldwide.
You work, you're on the road, I would imagine. Now, these days, I guess a lot of people still can work at home.
I am full-time home, but I do not travel. My team travels, but I'm fortunate to be home. Because you can coach what you're doing now. 6 years at Bishop Shanahan boys basketball. So when let's run down the career in the coaching after the CYO. Okay, so and then I got married in 1996, and for the last 2 years of the high school CYO, I was commuting from Westchester. That's I got married and we were in Westchester. And then I decided to coach 7th and 8th grade CYO in Exton at St. Philip and James. I did that for 18 years.
18 years there.
18 years.
What was the feeder program? What high school did they, kids could have gone anywhere?
I had some awesome teams. I have awesome kids and their families were great. So you can go anywhere. It was Bishop Shanahan, Devon Prep, Malvern Prep, Episcopal, Westchester East, Henderson. Like it was right in the area of Exton, 30 and Ship Road. So like different school districts. So we had multiple schools that they can go to.
And then your first head coaching job was?
At the high school level. So after Philip and James, I was the freshman coach at Bishop Shanahan for 2 years.
Under Coach Doyle.
Yes, correct.
And he did a nice job there, too.
Did a great job.
Beat Chester the 1 year.
Did a great job.
You were there probably. That was
my older son was a junior on that team.
D'Angelo and David
yeah.
Angelo.
Thomas Ford, Kevin Dodds, right? Joe O'Malley. That team was great.
They were tough. And then I announced a couple of their games. They beat Chester in the semifinals. It was 5A. Then they ran into Pencrest, Tyler Norwood, and didn't play well that game. But they were just on fire there.
I was there for that. I was actually reffing high school in the district playoffs against when Shanahan played Chester. So I listened to it on my way home.
DELCOHoops.com.
I did.
There you go.
Right. But my wife was there. That was a great game. You guys did a great job announcing it. And then I was at Temple to watch the Pencrest game. Mike Doyle, still to this day, does a great job.
It was Doyle versus Doyle.
Yes.
I remember.
Right.
And then they got knocked out, Pencrest. I remember my buddy Paul Blackburn and Hershey came down from the Mid-Penn. Central PA played a tough schedule, and they beat them at Marple Newtown, first round of the states. I think you guys won a state playoff game in 17, first rounder at least.
They did. They beat someone. It was like a somewhat local game at Downingtown West pretty easily, if I remember. I think it was like a 30-point game, or it was.
Can you remember who knocked you out that year?
Yeah, I do. Milton Hershey.
Oh yeah,
at Reading.
At Reading. So they made it. Then they made it to the quarterfinals. But yeah, and then Pencrest had another great year, 2018, tied Norwood and that gang. Chris Mills now assistant coach at Penwood under Doyle. So yeah, Mike Doyle still coaching, at least 20 years with Pencrest, still doing it. And for him, unfortunately, I announced his final game last year. They lost in a playback game to Radnor in the. I was public address guy filling in for their guy for the district playoff game. But Mike, what keeps him going is coaching. My wife says, "Oh man, he got to calm down a little bit." That keeps him going, Coach Mike Doyle.
Love Mike Doyle. I mean, another O'Hara grad. I think he was 84, right? And here's a tidbit: when I played in the Narberth League, Mike Loudon and Mike Doyle were our coaches for a summer.
Play a lot of hoops down Avalon, still with the old heads, Dan Mastardi and the gang. And they always talk about Tim Weir. Tim Weir.
Everybody knows Tim.
He's still good.
So Dan Mastardi and I coached against each other when he was at St. Anastasia and I was at Philip and James. We played in a tournament championship or semifinal at Carroll High School.
How'd that go? How's Dan as a coach? I always say he should get into it.
Dan is, the reason why I would always have my Philip and James team play in Delaware County is because you and I both know there's a little edge to Delco players.
Yeah.
Right? And I wanted my team to get a little tougher. I think they beat us in a close game, but it was the typical great CYO game.
Yeah, Dan, one of the greatest from Archbishop Carroll, not only at basketball, but he was a heck of a baseball player too. And his son, Vince, was at Ruston, did a pretty good job, but has matriculated, as I'll say, to Kennett, and I'm wishing Vince the best. And he won a state championship in 2009 with DJ Irving and Archbishop Carroll. And I remember those days, Irving, a DJ, another Chester kid. So, yeah, it's all, we could go on and on with the connections.
7 degrees of Delaware County.
Yes. So, anyway, we were talking about, so you eventually, I got Shanahan. And then you took over in, was it 2019, 2020?
Correct. Right.
And did you make a run that year?
That year, we did not even make, I think we missed the district playoffs in 5A. My first 2 years, we were 5A. We missed by, like a percentage point or something. It was close, but we would have made the last spot. I don't know if it was like the 15th spot or 16th spot.
Right.
So that was my year of learning. The next year was a really good team I had. I had a lot of returners, and we ended up, was a shortened season because I think with COVID,
Yeah.
you didn't play non-conference, non-league games in any tournament or anything. So I think we ended up only playing 12 games. I think we were like 10-2, right? And then
Chester was 10-1. But some teams were. Octorara played 20 games. It was crazy. It was crazy. But anyway, then in 2021, you went to the Chester played Bayard Ruston in the District 1 championship game at Chester, and you advanced to the who beat you in the District 1
in the semis.
in the semis.
Well,
it was
the year
Ruston problem.
The year before, so
2021. Yeah.
That was the COVID year, and we played Ruston at Ruston. Unfortunately we didn't have our full team due to COVID.
Oh yeah, that's right. You told me the story.
There was
contact tracing and all that stuff. Yeah.
Our team was fine, but our team was shut down. Anybody that was on the same court as an opposing player had to be shut down for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So we played with a few varsity players and a number of JV players.
How many kids graduated from that Shanahan team? 2021, or some of the studs. Tell me some of the names of the kids.
2021, that was so that was like Zane Thompson.
Yeah, right.
Will O'Loughlin. So the seniors were like my son Tommy, Ryan Smith, Ryan Riato, Cole DeAngelis. I mean, that was a really good Cooper Jordan, who's the football quarterback at Westchester University.
Yeah, announced his district state semifinal game at Coatesville a couple of years ago against Bishop McDevitt Harrisburg.
That was a really, they liked each other. They bought into our system. They ran the system really well, and it just, unforeseen circumstances was COVID. Yeah. We just didn't get a chance to finish that season the way it should have.
And then Chester beat Ruston in the District 1 championship, and then went to the state semis before running into Archbishop Ryan, who played an unbelievable game. That was at Chester, and then Archbishop Ryan got beat up pretty good by Erie Prep in the 5A state final. I remember that very well. Then you win the District 1 championship in 2023. Well, first let's go to 2022. How'd that year go?
That was was that when we lost to Chester?
That's right. Okay, you played Chester in the second round,
semifinals.
District 1 semis down at the Clip Joint. That's an experience, of course, just playing in that gym. I remember chatting with you back and forth.
As a referee, before I took the head coaching job, I'm still PIAA certified as an official, but one of my favorite places to referee was at Chester. With the DJ, how hot it gets, right? The cheerleaders.
Peach Howard, public address announcer.
Right? I love it. That's the environment that I like. Yeah. So that was a really good game, back and forth. They had some really good talented players. We had some really good talented players. I think it was somewhat close.
Yeah.
Maybe until the end with foul shots and such. But it was a typical district semifinal game, and both teams deserved to win, but Chester beat us.
And then you made the state tournament that year?
We did.
Okay.
We did.
You lost to somebody. It must have been in the first round, 2022.
We lost to, there was a Philly pub school. I'm not sure if it was Auden Reed or if we played them 2 years ago in the first round.
Time flies.
It
How
does.
to write this stuff down. Then 2023, you went to did you win the district that year?
That's when we switched to 4A.
There you
and
go.
we beat Pope John Paul in the district semifinals at third place. And then we beat Collegium at Harrington by like 20. I think we won both games.
I remember giving you a big
20.
shout on my Facebook page. The post blew up. You have a lot of fans on there, man. A lot of fans on Facebook. And then you had to run into Goretti. And it was a close game. I remember that. State quarterfinals, Newman Goretti, Carl Aragale, 74-64.
Listen, if you want to beat the best, you got to play the best.
Yeah.
Right? Carl and Newman Goretti are a constant, among other teams in the Philadelphia Catholic League and the Philadelphia area. That, again, was they're games that you want to play, win or lose. I'd rather play a game and lose in a close game than beat a team by 25 that it means nothing.
And they were loaded again, Newman Goretti. Then a lot of the kids on the last year's team, 2023, 2024, were on that 2023 team. They were younger. But last year, you gave the game with Chester in the Martin Luther Jr. King Classic at Octorara that was an unbelievable game. I was special guest PA announcer for that one. That was what was it like playing against the Clippers, man? And Clippers had a really, really good year.
I asked, so Coach Gene from Octorara, was the organizer, and I asked to play Chester.
Yeah, baby.
I love to play good teams. Keith Taylor does a great job. Right, he does a great job with his program. His players are always good. I want to play good teams. Like if you look at our non-conference or our non-league schedule, which is what I'm responsible for, we play some really good teams.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to that.
Yeah.
So that game with Chester was incredible, and I got some pictures with several of your kids. I finally got a selfie with you with my Phil and Jim shirt on that people like. So anyway, so then you. Okay, then 2024, yeah. Then last year, though, I thought you were the favorite to win the District 1 4A tournament, but then you had a couple of injuries.
One was one of our players, Sean Griffin, one of our main players, just injured his back, towards the end of the season. And David Bandre Rylander, one of the last practices, had a concussion.
Those kids were, and Keenan was tough against Chester. You played a bunch of kids, and they all came through big time. Chester won the game in overtime at the MLK Classic at Octorara. Right. But let's run down those kids again. Griffin was an absolute beast. Nice as all your kids, very nice to talk to after the game. I know it's tough when you lose a game, but yeah, Griffin. Run down those. Run that basically as many as you can on that team last year, and then let's focus on this year.
So I'm fortunate at Shanahan to have a great administration that supports us, athletic and the school administration. And our players are good kids, right? Sometimes, you want your players to just be a little meaner. And I think this team that we have, like even last year, they're nice. They're the kids you want your daughter to marry, right? But they have the little edge that, like I said, you want that little toughness. And this team has that toughness. Last year we had the toughness. This year, I think we have a little even more because we're a little more hungry because a lot of my guys from last year's team are back.
Yes, let's run them. Graduating seniors last year. I don't know how many kids you actually.
We had 5. Okay. So they all decided to just go to like larger schools. So like Sam McGorman went to Villanova, Matt Seyfried, Kevin Skaggs, and Chase Boyle all went to Penn State.
Skaggs, the game-winning shot. And the big game that I watched on TV that shocked the state, beat Westchester Henderson when Lamazana was eligible.
Right.
That was incredible.
Right. We had a great team strategy, and we were fortunate. I mean, Jason Ritter does a great job at Henderson, and I think it was the first time since he started at Henderson that we beat them. They had a lot of talent last year, and we were fortunate. We played well. We had to beat them.
Yeah, and they would have gone maybe even further in the PIAA state tournament if Nelson was eligible to play. That's another thing. True. I think all the kids should play, whatever, but that's my opinion. All right, so then you had those kids that graduate. Let's focus on 20. You've been playing this summer too, Bishop Shanahan, located in Downingtown. And can we real quick give a shout to all the Downingtown spring sports teams, Downingtown East and West, and even Shanahan.
Right.
It was unbelievable.
It's good. Like our league, the Chestmont, I compare it to like the NFC East in the NFL. Like we beat each other up all season long, and then if we play someone else outside of our league, not that it seems easier. It's just, it's a little relief, right? Because every night in our league, no matter what sport you're playing, it's a grind, and it's hard, right? And I'm biased, but I love our league. I think it's tough. I mean, the Pac's tough. The Catholic League, obviously, in basketball is tough, and, in football, too. It's just, the Del Valle and Central League. It's just, this is a great area for athletics. Your
schedule, you're going to mention that in a moment here. John Dougherty, year number 6, head coach of Bishop Shanahan, 4A school in Downingtown. So let's talk about your summer so far and your standout, City of Basketball Love. Those guys are doing an awesome job covering it.
So our team is deep. We have, like I said, our 4 returning seniors, Sean Griffin, David Mondre, Rylander.
Your guard was Keenan. Is that the?
Danny's gonna be a junior. Like I have
It was him.
Andrew Corcoran, Danny Keenan, Anthony Aquila.
Aquila, yeah.
Right? Like just a solid group of players. Ryan Ambrose is going to be a senior, right?
Yeah.
Chase Nestor, another senior who just, everybody knows their role and anybody can step up at any single time.
So here we go.
Our summer. You want to hear about our summer?
Yeah, I want to talk about your summer, and then you got the schedule, and I want a little preview of. I know it's early, it's late enough to get a preview on Chesmont boys basketball this winter, including Coatesville, who's got the Hiller boys. They stayed at Coatesville because I heard all kinds of stuff. They may be going elsewhere.
Saw them play.
Yeah. So tell us about the Bishop Shanahan boys basketball summer.
So summer so far, Mike Doyle, Pancrest, did a showcase. We did that, I guess, a couple months ago, a month or two. Right, did really well there. Went 2-0 against really good teams. I try to pick showcases that we play other teams that I'm not going to see we're not going to see during the season, or someone that's just going to teach us, even if they're better than us. I want us to get better because that's what I tell our team. We don't lose, we learn. Right? Every single time we want to compete, and one of our mantras is refuse to lose. And we played last weekend, the last 2 weekends at Philly Live at Jefferson. So like Coach
Intense.
Moscow, right? We were at the new sports center, the Horwitz Six-Man Center, on Wissahickon. The Sunday before the 23rd, we went 2-0 there, and then yesterday we played at Jefferson. Played two really good teams in Walt Whitman and I forget who, right? But another New Jersey team, Woodbury. Two really good teams, right? And we went 0-2, but in really good teams. We were down a little bit, but I was able to see what my team was made of.
Without Sean
Griffin.
Yeah, so he'll be okay.
He's rehabbing for the summer, and he'll be back in the fall.
So your summer's been really, really tough. I see that. Nice job by, again, City of Basketball Love. You're getting some publicity there. It's great.
Our guys deserve it. They put time in, and I think, like I said, we're hungry to get back. We want the season to start tomorrow. First, we got Bishop Shanahan football. They're always in the mix. Paul Myers. I talked to him on my way down here. Is our athletic director and our head football coach, the only football coach we've ever had. And he's one of my mentors and one of the people that I go to for assistance in anything. He's done a great job, he and his staff, since day one. I mean, our football team, it's very similar to our basketball team, where every week, the league schedule is so hard, even more so probably for them, playing Downingtown East and Downingtown West and Coatesville, the three big in football in our area. But once he gets to the district, playoffs and such, they find a way to win.
And they're going to stay 4A also, right?
Correct, I believe so.
And you guys in basketball, 4A.
Yes.
So the off season's going well. Do you have some of the kids? I think Aquila, he plays football, doesn't he?
He does. He's actually a really good quarterback.
You helped me with the pronunciation of that. I think last year, because I'm public address announcer for Coatesville football home games Friday night, and they played Shanahan. Somebody else, there's a Keenan.
So we have a lot of multi-sport athletes, whether it's lacrosse and baseball in the spring, or cross country or football and stuff or soccer in the fall. So if you're a coach at Shanahan, boys or girls, you got to understand that your players are going to play multiple sports, and I hope they do. I encourage it. So like when kids ask me questions about coming to Shanahan, I want them to play multiple sports, and so do the other coaches.
Unlike a lot of other private schools in the area. So lacrosse, perfect example. The Radnor boys basketball team lost a lot of guys from the year before, and 4 of their 5 starters were lacrosse guys, and they won their 4th PIAA state title. Savadov and those guys, Kessie Cox. So it was a pleasure to watch them. Didn't shoot the ball that great, but the hustle, the defense, the discipline. That's what I see with lacrosse guys. They don't lose. They're intense. They don't lose their cool because they're used to getting hammered by a stick the whole game.
Right. Yeah, they're used to physical contact.
Flyers, Broad Street bully days.
Yeah, so we have a lot of multiple sports players. Like for the upcoming season, I would say I have half of my varsity team playing football.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I think it's great.
So they're ready to run. In football, you try to mix and play as much as you can because it doesn't. The 4 years in high school goes quickly, and the college coaches, as you know, they love the multi-sport athletes. Chester High, we got a bunch of them, and you played against them last year. The Twins,
Yeah.
They were a handful for everybody last year.
I think you should play as many sports as you can, as long as you can.
All right, let's get into the Shanahan schedule. Boy, you don't have like a regular PA guy. You told me like a.
We do not.
If there's a chance I could, if I'm available, because I'm doing Chester Charter boys basketball, home games, Strathaven again, new coach Strathaven. Hopefully they can get it turning around. But anyway, yeah, let's run down the Shanahan schedule.
So we open up our season with Malvern Prep at Malvern Prep. So
Okay.
Paul Romanzik.
Paul's the man.
Paul and I are
the
good
greatest.
friends, right? So, like I said, any non-conference or non-league, I want to go and play really good teams and prepare us. And then we travel to State College High School. I don't know who we're playing, but the other teams besides State College in that. So it's Friday and Saturday. It's us, State College, North Allegheny, and Doc Mennonite.
State College always tough. That was my old radio stomping grounds. Mifflin County, State College played each other. I still follow those teams. As you can see, North Allegheny always tough. Whippeal, what more can you say? Doc Mennonite, small
Always.
school. Mike Fergus.
Always does a great job. We always end up seeing Mike and his team play at Harriton in the championship district every year.
There you go. They're a little.
He's there.
They're a little smaller.
His team is always there in the championship.
You know, he coached at State College, high school.
I did not know.
Okay,
that.
there's a contact. So Mike, yeah, he's a funny guy. He's a little crazy, but he's funny because they play some games against our Chester Charter high school team. So State College, that's awesome, man. It's got a hotel up there and everything.
Yeah, I mean State College High School and their administration, they do a great job. They help find hotels and it's good competition and they're very hospitable. It's a good experience and it's an early season team bonding event for us.
Now you got the Red Raiders of Coatesville lost 4 starters, but still Larry Brown's back. They got the Jonas Chester, 2 6'7", 6'8" guys. They're going to have the size, and the guard played with Hiller. Colton, is that the basketball player?
Yes, he's
right.
the 6'4" freshman that's doing.
So he's going to start right away.
Yeah. We saw Coastal play on Sunday yesterday. They look good. They lost to a really good team from New Jersey, but. Still, I mean, they have new pieces and they have to just figure it out. It's the off season.
Coatesville's gym, Ross Kershey Gym. I'm sure you met.
It's a great gym.
Silver Fox over the years.
I did not.
Oh, you never met the Silver Fox?
Not that I remember.
Legendary Coach Kershey. Yeah, he's way back. I mean, he goes back into the '60s.
I wish I did.
With the track and field at Coatesville and basketball. So, yeah, and then
we're home against Westchester East.
Tom Durant, NCAA champ, Penn State football, '86.
Mm-hmm. Tom, has a great program, has done a great job.
Loaded.
Devon Prep.
And they're going to have their 2 guys eligible that missed it last year. Devon Prep won the PIAA state championship at AAA, and they're going to have those 2 young men back playing.
So Friday night at Devon Prep on December 13th. It's a tournament in honor of Jason Fisher's father, who passed away.
Oh, was that recent?
I believe so, within the last year.
What a coach he is, Jason.
Jason does a great job. Jason and I used to do a bunch of stuff for East Coast Power AAU, and that's how we met. And then we still keep in touch, and I respect him a lot. And then the other teams in that are Holy Ghost Prep and Holy Cross, which I don't know too much about.
The only one I can think of is the one up in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre.
It's possible.
So they're dangerous. They're very, very good.
Right.
They're having a monster summer, I heard.
They were young last year. We played them at our place, and so the coach is in his second year, also from East Coast Power originally. I forget his first name, but they're doing great in the off season.
Okay, Bishop Shanahan boys high school basketball schedule then at Avongrove, December. Well, might as well run down what you know about what they're going to have. December 17th at Avongrove.
Avongrove, the coach Graham. I think he lost a bunch of really good seniors, so I think it might be like an in-between season for them. But they're always tough. That's always a hard place to play at Avongrove.
Yeah, Linville Hill played there. That's a single A school that now they bumped them to double A. They went to the state semis the past couple of years from the small Amish town of Paradise on Route 30. It gives our Chester Charter team fits. Avongrove is one of the few teams that beat them last year, but you're talking 6A versus single A.
They were tough. They beat us. We split with them last year in our 2 games. They're in our division, but they have a brand new gymnasium a couple years ago.
Oh.
It's beautiful.
Yes, love it. Been there. Downingtown West, From Hearts, Staz is back.
Yeah, Zeke and Donovan
6'8".
From Hearts.
They just beat Chester Charter by 20, and Coach Diggs has said they're just too big.
Yeah.
They're just too big,
They're
and I was surprised. I mean, they were 16-13 last year. So you play West Thursday. From Hearts is an absolute beast, Division I player.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that a short-handed Roman still beat them by like 25, 26 points in the first round. Shows you how good Roman still was.
Right.
But Downingtown West, they are licking their chops for this year.
They're never easy to beat. So if you beat them, you had a great game.
Looking forward to that. Unionville. What a year they had last year before they ran into the Archbishop Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Chris Coles does a great job as their coach.
He's an intense dude. I love him.
Love Chris.
So tell me about that. The 23rd of December, Christmas Eve. Tell me about Unionville this year.
So Chris and I, Coach Coles and I have tried to get this on the schedule for a couple of years, and it just didn't work out on our end. So I'm really happy that we're playing them. We're fortunate to be at our place, but I'll play them wherever. But we'll probably try to play them at their place next year. I think they have James Brenner, who's a returner.
He's tearing it up this summer.
Really good. And Chris has a great system, and his players play his system to the max. Like, there's never any quit. They're just go, 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 and you always have to be prepared for it.
Can shoot, team players.
Yeah.
Now, Friday, December 27th, this is at Garnet Valley. Oh, the Garnet Valley tournament.
It's a Christmas tournament.
You play Ruston. They're still going to have Chase Hatton back. New coach. Tony Bacon is the new coach. I remember him from the Glen Mills days. He's actually a coal cracker. I think Tony's originally from Shamokin. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not know
You have to
that.
do some research on Tony. He was a wild and crazy guy, too. He was funny.
I don't know if Tony remembers me reffing his games at Glen Mills, but I always thought he did a great job, handled his team. That's a tough place to play, or always was, right? So I respect Tony. I'll be looking forward to playing him.
Tony Bacon. And then so you got Ruston.
Then the other 2 teams, obviously, are Garnet Valley or Chichester.
Clyde the Glide Jones. You don't know. Now, they lost some. They have some guys back, though. But Garnet Valley, Mike Brown. I remember when I moved here.
Another Ohio grad.
Exactly. Went to Lycoming. So, Mike, I remember asking him, I moved here summer 2015, 15-16. I did a game with Garnet Valley. I could see by their records they were getting better. Mm-hmm. And I said, what's the key? I interviewed him on the air. Keeping our kids away from the private schools. Flat out said that. I mean, I know you're a private school, too.
No,
but
I
mean,
agree.
Yeah, okay. So, and he is getting it done.
I will tell you, like, the CYO games that I go to, and some of the CYO teams in Garnet Valley's area, not that I don't talk to those kids and their families, but they are so loyal to Mike and Garnet Valley. It's great. I want that on my end, so I'm happy to see that. I love Mike. Mike and I are friends. I love playing him, and I think he does a great job.
Awesome. I'd love to have him on my show sometime. They're here.
We can make that happen.
Yeah. If you're interested, just send me a message on Facebook or Twitter. I'm on Twitter, too. David Ross Berman. All right. Now we go to the first of the year, January 3rd. Westchester Henderson. They lost a bunch.
They lost a lot of talent, but Jason Ritter is still a really good coach. I did speak with Jason, and he loves this team. He said they're playing, they like each other, and they play well together. So I have not seen them in person, but anytime we're going to play them, it's not going to be easy for either team.
Downingtown East. I heard they have a couple of good ball players. I love the coach. I forget his name. John? Is it John?
No, it's Brian.
Okay, so
Brian played at Downingtown West back in the day.
Okay, so, and I forget Brian's last name. I did meet him, and I'm surprised they've struggled in boys basketball because I'm just surprised.
Well, that's a team, and I could be wrong here, but a lot of the football players stay football, right? So like they're and you have to be a basketball player. But that's a team, if in our league that I'm looking at, they're like about a year away. They had a lot of freshmen play last year on varsity, and they're going to be back even with more experience, and they're talented. That's a team that I'm not going to take lightly.
Can't remember the young man's name. He scored like 50 points in a game. I think it was last year for Downingtown. He's the guard.
Connor Shanahan a couple years ago.
Connor Shanahan. Oh, was it 2 years already?
Yeah.
Where'd he go to college? You
He
remember?
went to Lycoming.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think he's playing. He was tough.
Trying to follow it all, Coach.
He was tough. You know a lot. I don't know much. You know everything.
Well, Tony Bacon about Shamokin.
Right.
Okay, you can ask him about that. Upper Merion, and that's a team that actually Strathaven won one game last year. That was a team they beat. What kind of scouting report you have in Upper Merion this year?
So they're going to have a new coach. Their coach, had to take a step back. I think he's going to help. And he's going to be an assistant, but it just didn't work out logistically. But in speaking to some other people, I think it's going to be a down year for them. I think it's like a year of transition. They're probably young. That'll probably be better in a year or so. That's all I know. But I know anytime we play Upper Merion, it's always a tough game.
At Coatesville, Tuesday, January 14th.
Home against Coatesville.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. Home against Coatesville. First game at Ross Kirschy.
That'll be crowded at our place.
No doubt. And then
at
2 days
Westchester
at
East.
West, Tom Duran again. Showcase. Here we go. I love these showcase. Saturday, January 18th. Wait, I might be announcing that game.
You probably are. You did it last
year.
Yeah. Because that's when we played
it's
Chester
definitely going to
last year.
be Saturday, January 18th.
Yes.
Okay, got Octorara, obviously, Gene Lambert and the Half Moons. Lancaster Mennonite. Are you playing Lancaster Mennonite?
We are.
Oh, so that you're going to play them.
Correct.
And they state champs 2 years ago. They're bumped up to AAA this year.
Okay.
They have the Fisher kid, the great coach, and they're. I'm sure I sent you a tape of their game with Chester last year. They were
looking
hanging with
forward to
Chester.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great. Like, especially, in the middle of January, we're at that time we're trying to prepare for league playoffs. One of our many goals is to be in the Chesmont Final Four and win the Chesmont championship, obviously, and then get ready for district playoffs. So I think that type of game at that time will definitely prepare us.
What's it like playing on Gene Lambert's and the Octorara Half Moons? I love it because it's old school, but it can be tough.
It's a great venue, right? I think we don't prepare any differently as far as the backboards. With our guys, I think the more you focus on it, the more they'll focus on it. So
Mental.
Right, I try not to. Just tell them to switch the ball.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about your style also, which is amazing discipline. Avon Grove again, the 21st at home, at Downingtown West, Henderson at home, the 28th, and at Downingtown East. And
Right.
Is that it? Oh,
22.
Probably. 22. Then you have the Chesmont tournament.
Right, if we're fortunate.
How many teams do they take?
Four. 6. Actually, last year was the first year of the 16. Yeah, so there's our national and American division, so there's 3 teams on either side.
Your style, again, watching that Chester game and the Henderson game last year, you had 2 bigger guys out front. You had Griffin out front, out top. And yet I thought another long athlete. Maybe it was Rylander.
It was probably David, right?
Yeah, because he's about what, 6'2"?
He's 6'2", 6'3". He's even grown from last year.
And they were just long. You guys were long, and you were disciplined.
Ryan Ambrose is long.
Yeah.
Right.
How do
Sean Griffin.
you teach these kids to be so disciplined? It's not easy.
Just practice. I mean, this group. I'm excited to coach this team. I'm fortunate to coach this team. They are talented, right? But they have that inner drive that you want to coach this team, because all they want to do is be coached and they want to win. And this is a team where I'm going to put sets and plays in with my coaches, but it's kind of like, just get out of the way, right? Like, I just don't mess up, right? Because this team is talented enough to do something.
Man, looking forward to it. Your coaching staff.
So I have a great staff. I have Tim Wyatt, Mike Kilcoyne, Joe McCann, Nick Lamb, Tyler Newhouse. 4. So besides myself and Tim Wyatt, the other guys on my staff are Shanahan graduates.
And we got to focus. It is the 40th anniversary of the state championship boys basketball team at Shanahan, 1985. You said one of your assistant coaches played on that team?
Joe McCann.
Well, he wouldn't be that old. He'd be like 58, close to 60.
Yeah, Joe McCann is one of our assistants, and that's what we try to do. I want coaches on my staff, male or female, that the players can relate to, and different levels, right? So like the age levels or the age of my assistant coaches range from 23, 24 to a little older than me. Like Joe McCann's a little older, right? So there's a lot of experience, a lot of relations with the players, and that bonding and that knowledge level. So it's different levels.
They beat that team, Bishop McCourt from Johnstown, 52-46. I'm sure you've heard all about it. So you'll have probably some special things for this year, I would imagine.
I hope so. And I mean, I'm glad you brought it up because I didn't even think about that right now.
Well, you know me, numbers.
But I'm glad you did, because I think they deserve it, because we still have those alumni, and we have a lot of alumni that come back to our games to support us. And a lot of those team members come back and support us, coming to our alumni game. They come to our games, they support us. I have them come and speak to our team, because that's, if you don't remember where you came from, then you don't know where you're going forward, right? So I want that relationship, that bridge between where Shanahan came from and what the glory days. I want to bring that back, and I think we've done a pretty good job. Like the last, Ken Doyle started it, and then I want to continue what Ken did.
Yeah, you guys are doing an unbelievable job, man. It's not easy in the Chesmont. Your son, John, JMU, basically he's an assistant coach. He's on the coaching staff, and he is in his second year, right?
Correct.
And JMU had an incredible year last season. They went, he went 32-4.
Right.
They made the NCAA tournament, got a win there. They haven't had many of those in their history, maybe 4. And they beat Wisconsin 72-61, then lost to Duke 93-55. What are you going to do about that? But JMU has really raised the bar. I was down there on the radio 13 years in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Got to meet Lefty Drizel. He kind of got them. Didn't have the greatest success in the postseason, but he just got the excitement there, the left-hander. I don't know if you ever met him. He passed last year. But
I did not. But I know a lot about him.
Funny as all get out. So then so now they have a new coach now, as a Mark Byington, right?
He went to Vanderbilt, Mark did.
Yeah, because I remember watching him play in high school at Salem High School down there in Roanoke, Vanderbilt. So now you have a new coach, Preston Spradlin.
Yes.
And so your son's down at Morehead State. And tell us about your son's experience at James Madison University. He didn't graduate from there, right? He went to school.
He went to Penn State University, main campus.
That's it.
And he was the head manager. He's known he wanted to be a professional basketball coach since entering high school. And maybe it was because, being around me and some other really good coaches like Roy Blumenthal and some other coaches that, just maybe put it in his mind and his brain. I don't know, right? But he was the head manager for Penn State for 4 years.
Was Patrick Chambers the coach then?
His first year, and then Pat left. And then there was Pat left after his freshman year, or beginning of his sophomore year.
Another guy in there, and I forget. Then they had
Coach Ferry.
Ferry was in there for a year,
and then he had
his son was a good basketball player for State College.
Yeah, right. Now he's at Notre Dame.
Okay. And I can't believe I can't remember. Yeah.
I'm getting old.
Well, me too. But anyway, your son was under
Shrewsbury.
him. Yes, Coach Shrewsbury.
And we actually played State College 2 years ago, and so Coach Shrewsbury was in the attendance when we played his State College.
Right, that was
both sons.
Good team. It was a very good team. Made a state quarterfinals that year. So back to your son, James Madison.
So he ended up, being the head manager of Penn State. Loved it. Got the bug. Wanted to stay, but then Coach Shrewsbury went to Notre Dame, and then so it didn't work out for him to stay at Penn State. So he ended up going to James Madison as a graduate assistant. Finished his first year last year. He's entering his second year. Loves it. It's a lot of work. I think he realized early last year that it's a job, right? And he, not that he didn't expect that. It's his career, right? It's work. Coaching is a lot of work, especially in the downtime when the players aren't doing stuff in the gym. The coaches are always doing stuff behind the scenes. He loves it. He was with the new coaching staff. He's able to be a little more involved with the recruiting process at the level, because NCAA right now, there's the recruiting, the transfer portal, and there's not many kids coming from high school to the college level at the D1 level. So it's more transfer portal, a lot of research, a lot of data, going out to see kids play, having them come to the school and visit, meeting the families and seeing if it's the right fit.
How old's your son?
He will be 23 in January.
So he's been down there 2 years.
Yes, it was June of almost 2 years ago.
2 years. So I was there 13 years. It was really like a small town in 1989 when I moved there. Harrisonburg, on the radio down there. But now it's, I haven't been back in 10 years, but it's just growing and growing and growing. You have Bridgewater College, you have Eastern Mennonite College, and JMU, and their Division I football now and basketball. So how often do you get down there?
We try to, with my schedule, especially during the winter season when they're playing and I'm playing, we try to get down Sundays. Right?
Maybe a Sunday, yeah. 4 hours up, 4 hours back.
It's pretty easy, 81.
You wouldn't believe how many times I drove up. I'm the Chester historian. I grew up here. I followed them. And back then you had to go to the games. When Kobe Bryant played against Chester in 96, I drove up and back. They played in the district championship. And fortunately, my job was in the morning. It was like a 5 to 11 job where I could go home, maybe even take a nap. And I took guys with me to see Kobe.
Yeah,
because little did you know, but he turned out to be.
He was worth the show.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really not a bad drive at nighttime. During the day, I can imagine. I don't know which you go, either 81,
Turnpike to 81,
Turnpike right through good old Carlisle.
We can go as fast. Within the speed limit, but as fast as the tractor trailers will let you.
Exactly. But when you get in Westford, you go Harris, or you're going to get off at Carlisle, right, the home of Billy Owens.
Right.
And then you weave around, then you get Chambersburg. I know that program very well. They were at the Philly Live. And then you get in the Greencastle, I know 81, and then you get to Hagerstown, Maryland.
Right.
And then right when you get into West Virginia, I think you can go 75 miles an hour, but it's a short stretch.
Right. When it gets to the West Virginia state line, I think it opens up to 3 lanes. Am I right?
It's been a long time, but
it opens up, and it's a much nicer. I think you're only in West Virginia on 81 for less than a half an hour.
And then I remember right when you get towards Winchester, you can make it in an hour. So even though I spend the night there, you drive up and back.
We go up and back.
There you go. Well, if you're
I'll drive there mostly, and then sometimes I'll drive back, but usually my wife will drive back. So we share responsibilities. So
is John, what's he doing in the summer for Jamie? New coach, he has to get adjusted to the coach.
We don't see him that much. We try to talk to him, through over the phone, but he has a job. He was home for about a week around Memorial Day, but then he goes right back. He's doing a lot of the workouts. If a player wants to work out and get some shots up or lift, he's there. He was doing a lot of the recruiting process with the assistant coaches and helping any way he can. And now they're doing team workouts. So he's up at 7 a.m. I think he's also PIAA certified for basketball as a referee. So I think last week or the week before, he was refereeing games for the JMU women's program, had a high school girls camp. And so he was, reffing those games, helping them out.
They used to call it the Convocation Center. Now I'm not sure what they did with it. Is it still
now it's the bank,
the same site? It's been
I don't know. That's before my time, but
right
I
off
know
81,
the Atlantic Union Bank.
I have to look at a map.
It's awesome.
I keep in touch with a lot of people.
The arena is awesome, and the city itself, as from what I hear from people that were there prior to 3 years ago or 4 years ago. It's grown. There's more restaurants, and there's a lot of things to do in town.
A lot of stuff on the outskirts too, out towards Penn Laird. I know all the Elkton. You go south about
a lot of golf courses too.
A lot of golf courses, and you go south about 30 miles, and it's the home of Del Curry, Fort Defiance High School. Yep, Del Curry, state champ, 1980, Fort Defiance High School, which is, there's a town called Staunton. It looks like Staunton. It's called Stanton. So I covered that whole area. So Del's from there. Yeah, it's
one of the best shooters in history.
That's Curry's.
He killed the Sixers.
Del.
Yeah,
Del, and then son, of course.
Well, obviously, right.
Champs. So yeah, Del's still hanging in there. So and Ralph Sampson is from Harrisonburg, Virginia.
did not know that.
Big Ralph.
I know he went to UVA.
Yeah, UVA. Yep, look it up. I got all the stuff on him when he won a couple states in the late 70s. Trying to think of some other guys down there. It's really big in baseball. It's kind of like the Mifflin County area, the countryside, the farmland. They're really good in high school baseball. So they call that Rockingham County. That's technically the county there.
Right.
So,
I mean, my son, so, we tease him, or not we tease him, but we make him aware that, his last year with Penn State program and the first year of JMU, he went back-to-back years in the NCAA tournament with two different programs. What an experience!
I'm trying to think who Penn State played in the first round. It was I can't remember now.
Yeah,
because it's been tough to do. Shrewsbury, I think, was the coach. Yeah,
Shrewsbury was the coach.
Yeah.
They had Pickett and John Harrah, another local boy.
John, my
He's
man.
The best.
Strathaven, and he's playing overseas, I think, now.
Right.
So, yeah, it's great. What's it like?
Shout out to John Harrah.
Yeah, John Harrah, good stuff. John Dougherty here. So I know there was something else I was going to ask you about your past here in O'Hara and Buddy Gardler. Did you pick up any tips from Buddy? Maybe did you learn something from him to help you get into coaching and some of his ideas? I heard he was a pretty fiery guy.
He was tough. He was old school, but he knew his stuff. So I think kids are different these days, right? And I think as coaches, current coaches, we need to be aware of that. We can't coach the way we were coached back in the day all the time. So like Buddy Gardler was about discipline. He was about fundamentals. He was about, doing what was right and just following the process. And that's what all Cardinal O'Hara teams did under Buddy Gardler. So I think I take bits and pieces of, Buddy Gardler, my grade school coach, Jack McCaffrey, who, there was always things that he would say, you can't dribble, you can't play, right? You got to use your left hand if you're right-handed. John Flanagan was my, college coach at Newman for a couple years, and George Wallace, right? But I learned from them. I took bits and pieces, and Robbie Linden was an assistant coach, and I think my style is more Robbie Linden, where I tried to connect with the players and get them to understand why I'm doing something instead of just saying do it. I'm trying to explain, if you do this, here are your options. I try not to, make them a robot. I try to teach them, and as well as my coaches, we want them to be basketball players, not robots, because there's going to be a defender that's going to try to miss them up or mix them up, and they need to be able to think for themselves and not be a robot.
For a 4A school, you have one of the toughest schedules in the state. You got to be proud of that, and it's not going to be easy to go undefeated. But wins and losses aren't everything. But your goal, obviously, you could win every game. Because you said with the talent you have, I'm looking forward.
I'm anxious.
Griffin, when he's healthy, wow.
Sean is a tremendous player, and I know he's going to play in college wherever he chooses to. He'll get healthy, and he'll be outstanding for us. And
he's a senior.
He'll be a senior, and we have 3 other seniors that are going to help us. And then we have rising juniors, and we have rising sophomores, and we have a great incoming class of freshmen that I'm really excited about.
And who's the kid I played? Tim's Rodney?
Ben Rodner Timms.
Rodner Timms. I played pickup ball. Him and his dad down in Avalon, and he. I forget.
He'll be a sophomore. He'll be a junior.
Junior at I forget what college.
Kings.
Oh, he's up at Kings College. So you produced some ballers. And before, Thomas Ford, he was unbelievable. What a state champ in lacrosse.
Went to Hofstra and played lacrosse.
You ever go to Avalon?
I have. I grew up going to New Jersey.
David Angelo, Duck Donuts. There you go. Yeah, I know. And mom's from Wallingford. How do you like
Linda.
that? So, what are you going to do? What do you got going on the rest of the summer?
So we're doing open gyms, for all of our students that are interested in playing basketball. We try to do that a couple times a week. I try to allow the kids to have, my players and the students just some summertime. They don't want to do basketball all the time.
I know they probably want to go down the shores.
They do, right. So we'll do 2 days a week for the next month or so. And then the next big event that we have is a overnight weekend camp at Albright in
Berks County. Right outside of Reading.
Right. So Rick Ferry is the head coach there, and we've been doing his camp for the last 2 years, and this will be our third. We love it there. We don't play any teams from our area. They're from like Maryland and DC and out Western PA. Again, trying to get, like against tougher teams and just teams that I don't want to see. I can try different plays and I can try to change things up. So I don't want to give up too much on our offense and defense that we're trying to do. But I'm looking forward to it. That'll be like another team bonding thing, and then we'll continue open gyms for a couple weeks, and then school will start back up.
Behind every good man is a great woman. Thank God for my wife, because she likes going to the games, but she's my spotter at football, basketball, and such. And your wife too. She's always smiling.
My wife Diane has been with me, from the very beginning. We started dating when I was coaching at Our Lady of Fatima, and she didn't know much about basketball. So the joke is that I had her keep my book, and now she knows, especially with me reffing, she knows a lot of the rules of the sport. She knows our players. She loves our players. She loves their families. Right? She's part of it. Like without someone, Pat Chambers told me this, and when he talked to my son John, when he was looking to go to Penn State, Pat said, if you're going to be with someone, you're going to be in this business, you need a strong woman with you. And my wife Diane, I'm fortunate to have her. She, I can't do this unless she allows me.
How many children do you have?
I have 2 boys. Besides John, who'll be 24 in January. I have a son Tommy, who will be a senior at Westchester University.
Nice. What's his plans down the road?
He wants to do graphic design.
No basketball.
He played for me at Shanahan, right? Mm-hmm. He's a good athlete. He wants to be in the sports industry, but in the graphic design area.
Yeah.
So he wants to maybe like work for the Sixers or Flyers or a team like that.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah,
we got to do. Where's your wife from originally?
Originally from Baraka section of Glen Olden, right? But she went to St. Joe's in Collingdale, and then her family moved to Berks County. But her older sister and older brother, hung out with my older sisters. So there was a connection, but we did not know each other until after we were both done college.
Did she go to school in Berks County, high school?
She went to Reading Central, which is now Berks Catholic.
They merged with Holy Name.
She went to Pitt, Johnstown.
Have you ever met Snip Esterly?
No.
The coach of Berks Catholic?
No.
Oh, you'd love him. You'd like Snip. You may have to run into him sometime.
I hope so.
I'm surprised. Gene's run into him at Octorara. So, John, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. John Dougherty, awesome work. Keep up the good
Thank you for having us.
The workout plan. I know you're into that. John Pierre, thank you very much for the show and producing it, and your daughter over there. Everybody have a great week. I'm Dave Berman, DELCO Sports 360 on cmpradio.net.